Hey guys, how are you? Just good to get back. Of course, always like when you have a come out for a tough game to get back on the grass. We're ready to do that. A few things that we can improve on. Know that we will improve on those things moving forward. And so far, it's been just a great work week. I thought our guys came in with edge, which is something that we normally do, but you can just feel the intensity from our guys ready to get back on the grass.
Scottie, Dan just told us about Sam and the procedure and the unlikelihood that he's probably back this year. I know it's not your room, but what's the message to your room now to maybe have to fill the void a little bit, maybe do a little bit extra, especially with guys like Isaac and Khalif?
Yeah, second half of the season, especially with the young guys, you're not a rookie anymore. You've had almost a college season under your belt. So now it's time to move on. And we're going to have to do things, but we're going to we still have the ability to get back into our 12 personnel package with some of the guys that we have in the building. But there is also, it's time for our guys to start playing, our younger guys to start playing, more important role. And as far as Khalif is concerned, just continue to drive and do the things that he does now with the progressional reads, of course, with Sam being out of that mix. Now you get bumped up into the progression. A lot of people don't quite understand exactly how that works, but, a lot of times it is about targets and how people are getting targeted. As you can see, JMO over the last few weeks, you push those guys up in the targets. So now everybody's getting accelerated into those targets. Brock, Ferks, all of our guys that are coming along right now.
With Isaac, there's been a few moments, usually when he's kind of pressed into a situation where he wasn't supposed to be, you can kind of see some of the confusion on the field and check it with his teammates. Obviously you want to have that full trust to him to understand not just maybe his role, but where it fits in the offense. Where is he at just in the understanding of a playbook and a role that's so much bigger than he played in college?
Yeah, so there's a lot of dynamics to that because we have to use guys in different ways and place them behind this guy or that guy. And a lot of times your third and fourth receiver, you really don't have anybody placed behind those guys. You're more concerned about him maybe being a backup role to Saint or a backup role to even JMO a lot of those times. But when the three goes down, like Leaf, like happened to Leaf, a lot of those times he's in another specialty role a lot of times in that play. And it's not so much as us adjusting because Leaf is not in, it's because the other guys are having to go to other positions as well. And now we're replacing him in a role that he hasn't practiced. He'll get better at that. There's no doubt about it. That's time on task. And with Leaf's reps and our rep count, we feel really good about, being able to have him concentrate on these details. I think the hardest and biggest detail that he is transitioning from, we don't practice a lot. We don't have a lot of snaps. We don't have a lot of reps. So the mental part of it, that you don't have the physical piece to it, he does need confirmation from those guys. And I appreciate the fact that we got guys that are smart enough to say, hey, -2 here, even though this is this formation, which should be normally a -3 split. Let's be -2 because of the concept. So he's getting some of that stuff, so he'll be much better at that.
Have you been with Jameson the last 2 weeks? Really got him involved. I think over 200 receiving yards, a couple touchdowns, 3 straight with an explosive touchdown. Just he seems to be kind of fitting in real nice right now with what you guys have going on.
Yeah, he's coming into his own. The one detail though, he was playing, outside of a couple of games in every, he was playing well. He just wasn't getting the production. And it was just like, man, you got to stay with it. It's very hard to tell a guy to start, stay with it when, whether we believe it or not, like it or not, receiver position is a stat-driven position. They want to see targets, they want to see catches, they want to see yards, and they want to see touchdowns. He's had the ability over the last few weeks to start getting better in those categories, but at the same time, he graded out as well as he graded out in the perimeter run game, in the run game, in the pass game. Now we're starting to get the full picture of what he can do while he's on the grass before the whistle blows, and just understanding how important it is to when he was going through those tough times and difficult times that he'll come out of it. I was saying that I think week 3 or week 4 that when he comes out the backside of this, he's going to be a lot more complete than he is right now. And what we're seeing is a guy better at releasing, better at blocking, better at the top of his routes, and then now just better at finishing on a lot of these crossing routes that are coming out the back door, whether they're on the first level, second level, or third level.
I'm going to paraphrase, though.
Isaac has been on the field a bit more the past couple games offensively. The ball maybe hasn't come his way, but how much can those reps in game help him if his role does expand here down the stretch, even when the ball's not coming to him?
Yeah, a tremendous amount. You know, it's very hard for a wide receiver outside of the known first rounders to come in and play an immediate role, just because a lot of times when those first rounders come in, they're placed at a position. They're thrown into the boundary at X. This is what you do. A lot of times it's concept X this, concept X that, so that they know exactly what they're doing. Well, when you come into a role, when you have an X, when you have an F that are staples at that position, now you have to kind of find out what's going on at the Z position, what may be going on at the F position, even the interior Y position. So the reps on game day allows him to know how not only to play through the physicality, to play through some of the tugs and the grabs and to make those catches, but the biggest deal is he starts to hear the concepts, and immediately when he hears the concepts, it's not, am I at the X, the F, the Y, or the Z? It's where do I fit in the concept? So the more times that you hear that, whether I'm at the 3, 2, or the 1, or I'm backside, when you hear the concept, bang, it goes off. It's not, oh, I have this route, like a lot of the guys that just get to play X.
There was a quote when Jameson was mic'd up last year, and I'm paraphrasing here, but he was talking about route running and how he's a sports car, and when a sports car is going full speed, it's tough to have control when you turn. When we watch him run these routes now, these crossers, these comeback routes, there seems to be obviously a lot more precision, but it also seems like the tempo is more controlled. Has he, I don't want to say dialed down his speed because that's his asset, but is he going 85% to have some of the nuances to his route running this year? That's
a great observation. So one of the things that we talked about, of course, when I came into the room was, there's 3 parts of the route, right? There's the start, there's the stem, and then there's the top of the route, right? Speed variation, you guys have heard me talk about a lot. So J-Mo, I like to talk about 7/8 speed, and I just got it from an old ball coach. 7/8 speed is kind of a word, 7/8, but 7/8 speed, it gives you the ability to have the illusion of speed, still go fast, but in the middle of the route, you can drop your weight. And what you got to realize about J-Mo, his 7/8 speed is most people's, 10 out of 10 speed. So the moment that we got him understanding that his speed is an asset, but the illusion of speed is a bigger asset, and his ability to drop his weight and his ability to be smooth with great arms, they're still going to feel it. And then let's worry about our top speed once we're catching the next part of it, or the top of the route, back at the quarterback being the fastest part, or when he puts his foot in the ground on those crossers, that is the fastest part of the route. That's where we want to build the speed while maintaining great, just balance with his eyes, so that when he's coming out of these breaks, he's not up and down running so fast. So just calm everything down to about 7/8 speed, be able to make the turns, make the catches. He's done a good job of receiving that. So we talk about being really, really fast in the beginning, right? And I'm not giving away any tips because he's fast all the time. And then in the stem, getting to that 7/8 speed range. And then at the top, whether I'm going to the post, whether I'm going to a go route running, I'm running a curl or a dig, that is going to be another fast part of the route. Yeah.
And I know what Dan had to say about his mental error in the end zone. It was very concise. I'm guessing you were less concise with J-Mo. What is the teaching point there for, just controlling your emotions in the game, whether positive or negative?
Well, I think it's very important that we control our emotions. When he came off the field, I did not control my emotions. Okay, so we got past that. I think he understands what he did, and I think Coach handled it as well as it possibly could be handled. I think he understands the gravity of that moment, and it's a teaching lesson not just for him, but for other people in the room and other people in our building. Yeah.
Above and beyond Sam's efficiency as a pass catcher, what is this offense going to be missing without him?
The first thing I'm going to miss is just his personality in the meeting room, because there is a certain level of teaching that Sam does, because Sam has a great understanding. He's an offensive lineman and he's a receiver. That is huge when you have that, and he can talk to the O-line. There's things that he's seeing on the edge that he can communicate with Panay about, but there's also a lot that he can talk to our slots, where he's directly connected to our slots about and what he's seeing in the run game versus the pass game. So we're going to miss that. We're going to miss his personality. We're going to miss his knowledge, his education. And then, he's a playmaker. And what playmakers do, they draw attention. And sometimes those playmakers, when they're drawing attention, they free up other people. We're going to miss that. So somebody else has to step up into that role of making more plays and drawing that attention. We're definitely going to miss Sam. Hopefully we'll get him back, but, who knows?
I just asked Dan about this. I know you can't control the refs or anything like that, but it's just an odd statistical thing that you haven't drawn a defensive pass interference this year, and there's only been one the year before. Is there any sort of teaching point at any point to draw that if you're, if there is tight coverage?
You're trying to get me fined. I told you guys, man, I got 3 kids. I'm not gonna talk about officiating. I will say this. We really coach against any kind of flopping or any of that. We want to if we get the call, we want to get the call, but we want to make the play. And the way that I coach that is we play with physicality. We're going to run through tugs. We're going to run through all that. We spend a lot of time in the offseason. J-Mo has gotten much stronger. Saint, he's not getting it a lot of time just because his physicality, you hit him, and it's like throwing a rock at a truck. I mean, you hear it and you can see it, but it's not going to slow him down. He's just going to run right through it. So, look, we don't concentrate on that. I don't even know if my guys know that stat. I do because I'm watching the entirety of the league and I'm watching our guys and how they're policed, right? And so I see that. But one of the things is we're not a flop team, man. We're more old school basketball, late 80s, early 90s, bad boys. You take your shot, you get up, you hit the free throws or you don't. All right.
Have you ever been part of a team that has gone this long without having a pass interference call in their favor?
Yeah, the year before, right? But so I'll say this, man. No, but I also haven't tracked it. So I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm really trying to stay in the point of where we're just constantly getting better and working on the things to get better. And I don't want our guys' attention to be directly connected to officiating. I'd rather be connected to scheme and performance, okay?